In here, Ken in Oceanside. What's up, Ken?
Hey, Mike. Great interview, and I just appreciate all your interviews with these guys. But I don't know if my ears are dirty or what, but the Coach McAdoo, did I just hear him in that interview say the Giants are a class act, discipline, words like that when you see what's-his-face peeing on the end zone and the young Ingram tight end grabbing his crotch? I mean, ever since he became coach, Mike, that team has no discipline.
Well, they haven't had it even before he got there because they didn't have it when Beckham was there under Coughlin. I mean, so they haven't had it whenever Beckham's there. You know, I would have brought up Beckham if he's here. The reason I didn't bring up Beckham is he's not here. So there's no reason to bring him up when he's not on the team. And right now he's not on the team. He has nothing to do with the rest of this year. So that's why the only reason I didn't get into the discipline with him, which he and I have gone round and round on, it just didn't pertain to this team. It's not the issue with bringing this team back right now because he's not here. So the issue now is how do you deal with this team, motivate this team, and get some wins for this team? And Beckham's not part of this team right now. That's the only reason I didn't get into anything with Beckham because it just doesn't pertain to what's going on with the team at the present time. Julian in Connecticut, what's up?
Hey,
Yes,
Mike.
Julian, what's happening?
Hey, just wondering real quick, and I know this was bothering you too, but after you asked Coach McAdoo if he's made any conscious changes for the season, why didn't you ask him about the slick back hair?
Oh, that's silly. Listen, that's silly stuff. I'm not interested in silly stuff. I mean, listen, you might be interested in that crap. I'm not. I mean, that's garbage. Who cares? I mean, I could care less what it is. I care about how he coaches the team. I don't care what he does with his hair, really. Sonny in Malvern, what's up, Sonny?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
What's happening?
A question about McAdoo and then a comment about the Giants. I think you were right not to bring up Beckham. No sense.
No, it doesn't.
Mike,
Listen, he's not here. It doesn't pertain to what they're doing right now.
Right, Mike. In a funny way, I think it's better. McAdoo's better off if the season's over not to have Beckham there and to deal with all those issues.
See, I don't know if that's true because you know what they need is explosiveness, and they don't have it. And unless they get Shepard back, if they can get Shepard back, maybe right now. One of the bigger issues they have is, and I'm not going to sit here and pick on Roger Lewis and Tavares King and those kids, but right now they don't look like they have a wide receiver who can break the game open. They need somebody who can break a game open.
Mike, you're exactly right. I was going to say they need Shepard back. If they get him back, Mike, I see no reason why they can't run 3-4 games in a row and
listen.
play
They're good enough to listen. They're going to win some games. They're good enough. First of all, they lost 3 games. On 2 of them in the last play of the game, 3 games they lost with the lead deep in the fourth quarter. They are capable of winning games. They won at Denver is their only win this year. They've lost games they never should have lost. They can beat just about anybody, and if they can get a little bit of momentum going, if they can win this week against the Rams, they might be able to win a couple of games in a row. I mean, they're possible. It's possible for them to do that, and that's when things change. And I could see them really relishing the role of sport. And I've seen this before where teams they're a team you don't want to play late in the season. That's just like, full steam ahead. And the Giants could be that team this year. They could be a team that by the end of the season, nobody wants any part of. And that team is playing the spoiler really well. So, I mean, that's what you look for. Remember, there's still 9 games to be played here. So, and after the Ram game. The Ram game is really pivotal because if they win the Ram game, they have the Niners the next week. Now, that means 2 straight wins. You get 2 straight wins, in come the Chiefs. Well, now you're ready for a little bigger opponent. If you got a couple of wins and a couple of wins under your belt, now you're ready maybe to play a bigger opponent like the Chiefs. And I'm not saying that's going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. It's not. But that can happen though, and you can really, you can pick things up. It can really change. And then they have a game at Washington, that'll be the Thanksgiving night game. So they would have Rams, San Francisco, Kansas City, Washington on Thanksgiving night in Washington. That's their, and listen, they have a tough schedule because they still got a trip to Oakland. They still got the tough games in their division. They still have a trip to Oakland. They still have a trip to Arizona. So they have tough games to play, no question about it. Wilson in Roxbury, what's up, Wilson?
Hey, Mikey. Mikey, listen, I've been calling you for a long time. Let me tell you something. You know what? John Mara has neutered 2 head coaches in the last 5 years. He neutered Tom Coughlin on national television, where poor Tom was walking up and down the sideline, shaking his head because he shoved this guy down Tom Coughlin's throat and told him, "You have nothing to do with the offense." And now, fast forward to Sunday when they played the Seahawks, and they showed a face of Ben McAdoo. He looked like a fish out of water, not be able to call plays. Nobody believes him that it was his call. So
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's still a head coach, Wilson. You're getting too hung up on calling plays. I mean, that part of it is really overrated. It really is. That part of it is. I mean, I've seen teams go back and forth calling plays. I've seen coaches go back and forth 3 and 4 times in a season as to who calls the plays. It's overrated. You got guys winning in this league big right now who are calling the plays. And you got guys right now who don't call the plays, who can't do anything right. So that's not the reason you win or lose, is who calls the plays. It really isn't. And you know what? Fish out of water. He's the head coach. He's got to run the team. Is it probably taking some use for him to do it? Hey, maybe he'll go back to calling plays. Maybe he won't. Who knows? But like I said, there's guys who successfully call plays, and there's guys who, just don't call plays. And never call plays. Jason in Clifton, what's up, Jason?
Mike, I'd like to thank Ben for that fake news report on the New York Giants, because does he think like all the fans are just idiots?
What did he say that's not true?
Mike, the fans have been supporting him. The first game at home, they were getting booed off the field at the
What do you want him to say? You want him to pick a fight with the fans?
But Mike,
he's not going to pick a fight with Jason. He's not going to pick a fight with the fans. I mean,
Mike,
he's not stupid.
Right in Giantland, they're flying around in practice. Everybody's great. Everybody's on board. Meanwhile, they're fighting during halftime. Mike, let's hear. He's not even aggravated. He didn't even sound aggravated. They're 1-6. He's like, "Well, I'm consistent in the way I feel." Mike, you're coaching the Giants. Super Bowl expectations. You're not even sounding disappointed or aggravated?
Still got 9 games. Listen, the proof's going to be not in what he says. The proof's going to be in how they play.
Mike, get on the air and
what, rant and rave? You want me to yell at the fans?
I know, be a little honest about how you feel about how to win.
You know what? Sorry. I guess he's not honest.
The fans like to see that you care about, you really care the way they do.
You don't think he cares?
Mike, you didn't sound like you cared to me.
Jason, you can't be that dumb to think the guy doesn't care about whether he wins or loses. He gets paid, and his family eats based on whether he wins or loses. That's his job. That's his life's work. He takes it very seriously, I promise you. Now, whether you liked his attitude or not is up to you, but the idea if you think he doesn't care is ridiculous. He's not going to come on and show you that he's rattled, okay? Part of this, when you've gone through it for the first time as a coach, is not to look like you're rattled. Because if you come on and say, boy, you know what? Really, Mike, I'm in my second year here. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no clue. I can't figure this team out. Man, they want to be like, what? You have to look like you know what you're doing. Whether you do or not will be in the proof, will be whether or not you've got the control of this team, whether or not you've figured some things out, that will be in the production of the team. We'll see if they go north from here or south from here. If they go out against the Rams this week and lose 31-3, you know what? He doesn't have the team under control. So that'll be the answer. But if you don't expect him to come out and come on the show and basically admit he doesn't know what's going on or that he's unraveling, he can't do that. That would be the worst thing for him to possibly do. He's got to come out and show you that he doesn't think, he's not going to let you see him sweat. And that's the right way to handle it. You want to make it seem like, hey, yes, things are bad, but we can turn it around. We're going well. We're practicing well. We're going to try hard. Well, I'll say this for him. This is the only thing I'll say in all fairness. They've been awful so far. They have never stopped trying to play. I will give them that. They have tried hard in the games. Hey, they came out in the Denver game, surprised the heck out of me. Be the first to admit it. Now, Denver surprised me about how bad they were, but they actually played hard in that game, played well. Came out the Seattle game, gave it everything they had. Seattle just warmed down. Seattle was better than they were. Now we'll see what they do against the Rams. Like I said, if they can beat the Rams, then they beat the Niners. Now they've won 2 games in a row, and now they got a little gas in their tank for the better teams. Because in comes Kansas City then a trip to Washington, and then the Raiders. Those are tough games. So we'll see. Listen, his job's on the line. If they go 2-14, he's not coming back. If they go 3-13 and no one's in the stadium in December, they'll clean house. If he goes out there and goes 6-10 or 7-9, he'll be back. That's the way it works. And the Giant teams have historically played well down the stretch of these seasons. If you look, when they've been 0-5, they usually respond. They usually play pretty well down the stretch. Now, one of the teams of recent vintage that was 0-6 was a championship team. I mean, you got to take that into account. They didn't think the 3 strike games were going to count. So you can't count 87 in there because they were still a very talented team in 87. Matt in Brooklyn, what's up, Matt?
Hey, Mike, what's going on? Big fan.
What's happening?
Quick question. I really want to ask you seriously. I feel like you have a little inside information as far as, did anybody say don't ask about Eli? Because I was waiting the whole time for you to bring up Eli as far as all the reports of him getting traded. Or
Eli's not getting, listen, I can tell you right now, Eli's not getting traded. And Eli is not sitting down.
How you didn't bring it up. I was waiting for it. I'm not going to tell you how to do your job.
Wait a second. I'm not going to sit here and talk to him about whether Eli's getting traded. I never thought for 1 second the trading deadline is tomorrow. Eli is going nowhere, okay?
Not necessarily traded, but maybe having the young kid come in.
No, he's not playing. No, wait, he already answered that. Maybe you weren't paying attention, Matt. He already said who's quarterback in the team. That's not an issue. Eli's quarterback in the team. Case closed. There's no issue there. None. There's there's nothing to discuss. There's not a question. There's nothing there. He is quarterbacking the team. I think he will quarterback every game they play this year unless he gets hurt. He will quarterback every game. He's not being traded tomorrow. Tomorrow's the trade deadline. He's not going to be traded tomorrow. If he gets traded tomorrow, it'd be the biggest shock in the world. He's an enormous cap hit for any team, and I don't know what team he would be trading to, as a matter of fact. I haven't heard one rumor about him being traded anywhere. So I don't think there's any truth to anything except maybe there's some internet report somewhere which had him going to the Green Bay Packers, which was a bunch of nonsense. They also had Tony Romo going to the Green Bay Packers. So, I mean, none of it was true. So, I mean, Mike McCarthy told you he wasn't trading for a quarterback. So, I don't know. That to me isn't even an issue. I mean, there was no issue with Eli, to be honest with you, except how did he think he was handling the offense? That's all. That's the only issue. He's the quarterback. The Giants are going to try and win games here. You guys think, see, this is where the fans get lost. The fans think at 1-6, the Giants say, oh, we don't care about this season. We're not going to try and win any games. They don't think that way ever. The Jets didn't think that way and don't. The Giants will never think that way. They will try to win every game they can win. That's what they do. They don't try and say, oh, tank the season here and then let's go 1-15. They don't. That's the last thought they ever have, ever, about stuff like that. So they're trying to win every game they can play. Every game they play, they're going to try and win. Now, if Eli gets hurt, it's a different story. But otherwise, he's your quarterback today, tomorrow, and the rest of the season. Back after this.